So we put our tool post grinder on there. People were concerned about whether the surface would come out okay. It's not perfect. We'll hit it with a polishing belt, but it came out good. The material was just kind of strange on this. I don't know if it was really sort of like a wrought iron. And yeah, I don't know. And I didn't want to risk trying to find that perfect, several people had talked about, balance the wheel, because the wheel not being balanced is part of why we went low speed. But we went really low speed. We went 10 RPM. So at 10 RPM, there's no dynamics of the balance doing anything. You can get, especially on something really large, you can still get run out as it moves up and down, even if you're doing 2 RPM. If it's really large and really out of balance, you will get a run out that happens from the weight, and it will happen more like this, having a point that's out here further. And people had also commented that I had a wonky point with it way out there, use a regular center. It's a piece of history here. I didn't want to change the center that was located good and in good shape in their axle, and it's an 82 degree. Well, me as well as pretty much all of you out there don't have a good 82 degree center setting there. I had a rotating 4-jaw chuck, and that's what we used. And why I mention these things that I'm talking about, yes, there's compromises, yes, there's other ways. We could have bolted weights over here, made it closer to balance. Would we actually put it on a balancing machine and make it perfect? Why? You know, how much time are we going to spend on this? The whole idea is to come out with a good job without taking forever. And it's not about what is the one way. There's 400 different ways to do this job. What we are showing you pretty much is one way that we actually chose to do it because we chose to do it that way. And darn it, you know, we're not like one of those AI things where they give you the girl and do you want her to go into the swimming pool or do you want her to bake a cake for you? We can't do that, you know? We do it the way we do it, and that's the only way we can film it. Anyway, so you know that, I think. The other thing about balancing it is if we balance this side, well, this one here is at a different point. So now I got to balance this one too, or I've only sort of done it. I might have this out here, but my balance here is still going to affect it if we're looking for speed. But before this, well, we ran it at 10 RPM. It came out good. Before we were running it at 50 RPM. And 50 RPM, I knew the balance was affecting it. It was not affecting the roughness. And like I say, this was really some unique stuff, the way it turned. It was different than any steel that I'd quite seen before, is how stringy it was coming out. Made me think possibly, it's 1899 vintage is when they put this together. It might be an older piece of steel, but it could be anything. We just don't know. But it had a little flat spot where it was turning. It was making, and you can't see it, it's not there now, but it had made a flat spot in correlation to where the weight was. So that, and well, actually not exactly, but correlation like on the side. And so that little flat spot is part of where I was saying that I was really concerned about. Instead of trying to go faster, since it is out of balance, you might fix the roughness, the stringiness by going somewhat faster. It was already making a flat spot at 50 RPM. We're not going to run it up to 1,000. You're just not going to run it up to 1,000. That would be very scary. It would come out of here. And so the tool post grinder was the reason, the answer for that. On the other side of it here, the tool post grinder, which is also part of where we have, it looks a little modelly. It feels good, but there's just looks a little modelly yet. It's not quite, I don't know that the camera will show it. It's like there's little 1/10,000ths of an inch waves in it about every 40 thousandths apart. I've seen that before on where I see that a lot of times is on some of the flame sprayed material. I've seen that before. But the flame sprayed material doesn't come up stringy like this. The flame sprayed material, it comes off chunky or brittle little pieces. But the wheel was not exactly the grade that I would have liked to have. It was the grade that was available for a standard bench grinder here in town. You find that a lot of times on these. You want a little different size wheel. You don't want to order one from Do More which tends to be the ones that get the wheels in the size range you want sometimes. But ordering them, getting them is a pain, and you just use one that, so it was dulling the grains instead of breaking out sooner. It should have been a little bit softer wheel, really, for what we were doing. Yeah, so I just thought I'd talk about that a little bit more, and yeah, that's what we did. I think the customer will be fine. We're working on the box. Well, the customer is fine. They're real fine, actually. I think they will be fine with what we do when we're done. That was what I was saying in short there. But yes, fine customer. All our customers are fine. That's the only kind of customer we have, in fact. Fine customers.